Okay, today I'm gonna cover both 257 and 258 because I didn't cover 257, and I think it's probably better for it to go back to back to back, right? So 257, Yuji is the son of Sukuna's twin, which is his dad, although they say his grandpa looks more like Sukuna anyway. That's nice, and all it just gives a bit of potential to Yuji, I guess. He did hit Sukuna with the seven black flashes, but at the same time Sukuna ate them, so it's give and take. He ate them in terms of surviving them, but as we later find out in 258, he didn't get his RCT back. So technically he's down to one arm, the other one's cooked, the other two are gone. His heart is still cooked. One of the arms was cut via the soul splitting katana as well, so that'll be hard to come back even if he had his full RCT back. But he got his domain. Let's slow down. Yuji got the right side of his face messed up, same side as Sukuna with his whatever that thing is, where he looks more like a curse. Perhaps Yuji continues on his path to becoming like Sukuna, as he also has cleave in this man, so and all of that, which probably means he also has the fire. But going into oh yeah, also Ino was in the chapter, I guess. But going back into 258 or going into 258, yeah, no RCT, but Sukuna has his domain back. Okay, but he got that first. Then he was gonna get RCT, and then didn't get it. And Gojo got his RCT, all four black flashes, and nothing to put him back. And he did the weird thing of saying like he made a different pathway in his brain, which if he can do it for RCT, obviously he's gonna do it. He could do it for the domain, right? I mean, it seems that that's how Sukuna used the model. Again, he's always just copying and having other people do things, binding vows because he can't win fair and square fraud Kuna. But yeah, I don't see why Gojo wouldn't have his domain expansion as well. After the four black flashes, higher level sorcerer, has RCT, clearly can show that he can change it. He was bleeding less than Sukuna as well. Only his nose bled. He was looking fine. Sukuna, on the other hand, was like toast. But either way, Sukuna's domain is not at 100%, even though the author is like, or the narrator is saying something about the output and the range, which I guess like output as in the amount of slashes, where it's like it may turn you to dust, and the range obviously because there's no shell or anything. But because it was so impromptu, he only had one hand. He did the same sign as Gojo, which is suspicious in the sense that I had already noted that Gojo was the only one who had the one-handed domain expansion, where he only needs one hand for the signs, which is kind of crazy because all his other techniques requires two hands. So either it was a binding vow that he placed, or something about him, being a genius instinctually. Oh, that's just how I figured out how to do my domain, and so that's how he opens it. But when he comes back, obviously, when he eventually comes back, he might just pull out the full domain with the full sign, if you will, right? Instead of just a one-handed double finger. Plus, he has both his arms, right? So if he needed them, he'll probably hit the honored one pose, and that's probably what it actually is. That might actually make sense. But either way, it's open because he had to catch Maki in it if he had closed it, which would have made it easier, but it would have decreased the range. But Maki wouldn't have been in it, right? And so she's in it, everyone's in it, and they all have simple domains. Obviously, except for Maki, but it seems like Mi was in there. Ino and Choso's there, and just Yuji. They're surviving, which again goes to show how Susan's domain isn't at 100%, right? It may cover and cut the same amount of times, but the power isn't there, right? Even Yuji, when his simple domain broke and he gets hit with the domain just for a couple seconds, he looks fine, right? Which again just goes to show how Gojo literally took a 100% domain, right, of a fresh Sukuna, like literally just a chapter of Sukuna fight, and he goes straight into the domain clash, and he eats it. But he's just standing there, full RCT, 100%, and he's surviving, right? And he's still fighting and everything, crushing his brain, bringing it back, and doing all he does. So that just goes to show again how Gojo's on a completely different level from everyone else here. And also how weak Sukuna is, because he's also getting desperate, right? Fraud Kuna is getting desperate. Not only because of the impromptu everything, whatever, for his domain, not having the full conditions, it's kind of wishy-washy. Might even have used the 10 shadows, might even have used Tengen, the embryonic thing, whatever, and put it in the thing, whatever. It's like, okay, no more merger, or maybe the merger is it, because it looks like the merger, with the spine thing. Or maybe he threw the embryonic thing, he's like, okay, I can't do the merger anymore, and I can't use the 10 shadows, but I pop up in this domain, I can do it one-handed, this and that, right? Again, we'll have to wait for next week. I guess next week, because this week. Anyway, there's a break basically. But either way, we don't know how he opened it, but we do know it'll be down in 99 seconds. Yuji did pretty well on that one scene with his leg coming back to him because of blood manipulation. So he lost the leg, but kept it together with the blood, and yeah, that's nice. Also, shout out Uyu Uyu, right? It was apparently his technique that had the soul swapping and the whole thing. So that's how they cheated and how they trained. It's pretty nice. He's just been a constant MVP, bringing back Gojo, Higuruma, almost saving. Oh no, he got Yuta, and he almost saved Kusakabe. Also, speaking of Kusakabe, only because it sounds similar, but what about Takaba? He can always come back. So maybe he sees this whole charade of things and the whole tornado and everything. He makes a joke and everything goes away. So that's another thing. I don't know how he forgot. But all in all, I guess we really just have to wait for the next chapter. Because again, oh yeah, Sukuna ended off with the flame arrow. They called it, in the translation, it's called Divine Flame, which is kind of right, kind of not right. Because I was having this argument with my brother, right? Where he's talking about, oh no, it says hearth. What's like hearth? Was like stove fire, whatever, or stove open, so like turn on. Which is the kanji there, right? And I had seen the raws, which were in Japanese, and the kanji is that. But on the side, and the reason why it says Divine Flame, and why that was probably boxed out in black on the first time he did it, and again, it kind of goes into the. I just realized Sukuna's hand is back in that last panel. I thought that one was cooked and not ready for combat. Oh, he probably fixed it, didn't he? I just realized that right now. Interesting. Let me scroll up real quick. No, yeah, it was definitely messed up. Yeah, it was messed up in that last chapter, or literally in the same manga panel, or same chapter in the top second panel. Not the second panel, second page. His hand's messed up. But then, as it seems time goes on, he healed his hand. So that's something I just noticed right now. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, the Divine Flame, because the kanji is like stove, open, right? But the katakana, right, which is like for the English words, but in this case, since it's next to the kanji, it denotes a specific reading, different from the traditional reading. Because he was mentioning something like Kamado, like from the Kamado family, which is they make the coal stoves from Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer, which makes sense, because it was the stove, the whole thing hanging there, it makes sense. But the reading was Kami no, right, which is like God. God's, the no is like the possessive particle, so it's like God's something. It's like when they say Godspeed, whatever, Kami no, something, right, whatever. That's why when it says Kami no Fuga, right, it says, they translate it into Divine Flame, which is kind of, I guess, correct, considering the fact that the Fuga isn't actually flame. I don't think so. I read it, because the only word I found that had to do, or that was pronounced that way, was like an art, like something sophisticated, right? So Kami no Fuga is like divine art, realistically. But then they also put the open translation as well. So that's neither here nor there, because again, unless we get more exposition on Sukuna's true origins, as in why he's the fallen one and this and that from Angel and all that, I guess it really doesn't matter. It was just something I picked up, and it seems that John Weary somehow, even though he messes up everything, he picked up on that as well. And some fan translations did it. I don't think so. But yeah, they're either cooked or we just let Gege cook. I go for the latter. Let's let it get cooked. Okay, I guess we're gonna wait for the next chapter, which I don't want to do. I wish I could time travel, but I can't. Neither can you. But if you can, feel free, send it to me. Tell me in the comment section. We can set something up if you time travel. Yeah. And if you like this video, like it. If you like any of these theories or have your own, comment them down below. Subscribe because I will be here on time next time for 259, especially 259 because it's gonna be hype. But yeah, again, subscribe because I will be here on time. Thanks for watching.